Hey there, trail trekkers and tall tale seekers. You're tuned in to the 406 Life, the podcast where Montana Max, your Bigfoot buddy and outlaw gear mascot, yeah, that's me, leads you through the wild, weird, and wonderful corners of Montana. Each week we share stories, legends, and laughs from the last best place. So grab your boots and sense of adventure, because we're about to make some Montana-sized memories. This episode's powered by Outlaw Gear, where rebels get their style. Want to look legendary? Mosey over to I'mAnOutlaw.com and claim your outlaw status. Hey, Montana. It's your favorite Sasquatch, Montana Max, stomping out from behind the pines with the 406 Life. We're live in episode 19. If you haven't trekked through last week's adventure, episode 18, The Unspoken Rules of Montana, my field guide. Stop what you're doing and go check that first. I'll wait here under this giant pine tree. All right, tuck in your fur and grab your trail snack, because today we're diving into the Big Sky legacy. How our dream of statehood got shuffled around, scored by miners and moguls, and carved out by ranchers, ranchwomen, and yes, us wildlife folk. We'll uncover scandals straight out of Butte's mine shafts, salute the cowboys that built our backbone, and tip a hat to the brave spirits who rewrote the rules. Let's hit the trail. Happy birthday, Montana. November 8th, 1889, mark it in your logbook. That's when President Benjamin Harrison signed Montana's Statehood Act, making us the 41st state. Before that, this land was passed around like a hot potato. Louisiana Territory, Missouri, Nebraska, Dakota, heck, half of it came with the Oregon Treaty in 1846. If I had as many ID tags as Montana did names, I'd rattle louder than a rock slide. By the 1860s, gold rush fever hit hard in Bannock and Virginia City. Miners stampeded in like sheep to fresh grass, clamoring for claim stakes. But our real treasure glimmered beneath Butte's hills. Copper, so plentiful it wired up a continent. They called Butte the richest hill on earth, and let me tell you, no Bigfoot-sized exaggeration there. Copper kings and their empires. Enter the Copper Kings, Marcus Daly, William A. Clark, and F. Augustus Heinze, the original billionaires before billionaires were a thing. Marcus Daly built railroads, William Clark bought newspapers and votes, and Heinze stirred up lawsuits faster than a hound chasing scents. William Clark wasn't just slipping envelopes with a little encouragement into lawmakers' pockets, he was stuffing coffee cans. The U.S. Senate blasted Montana's politics as thoroughly corrupt, and honestly, it sounded like a wild backwoods soap opera, only dustier and louder. One infamous event, Clark rigged an entire election by hauling in ballots in stolen railroad cars. When investigators tracked them down, Clark claimed they were misplaced luggage. Try explaining that at TSA, right? The ranchers, heartbeat of Big Sky country. Flip the coin for Montana's other backbone, the ranchers and cowboys. These hardy souls raised their kids alongside the herd, stamped from sunup to sundown, tending cattle that numbered more than the townsfolk. In places like Choteau and Red Lodge, community life meant potluck dinners at high school football games, church hall gatherings, and a volunteer fire crew that doubled as the local social club. Beyond town limits, the wide-open range stretches like a soft brown blanket greets a Bigfoot's stride. Each winter, families host roundups, hauling hay by sleigh, checking fence lines, and coaxing calves to safety. Word has it, one old-timer once tracked a stray steer by following hoof prints through knee-deep snow, made easier when the steer paused for a midnight snack on a juniper bush. Rodeo season brings out the spirit of the range with bronc riding, steer wrestling, and barrel racing under hot summer sun. I tried my giant foot at barrel racing once, ended up hugging a barrel so tight I nearly blended in with the wood grain. Let's just say a Sasquatch's center of gravity isn't exactly barrel-friendly. Generations run deep on these ranches, stories passed down about homesteaders staking claims by hand, setting up the first one-room schoolhouses, and sharing sweat equity when drought or market dips threatened. When hard times roll in, neighbors lend tractors, swap grain, or gather around a campfire for coffee and tall tales. That's the true Montana promise. In every rough season, you'll find a helping hand, and maybe catch me sneaking carrots to feed the horses under the cover of twilight. Need shipping, shredding, prints, or a real street address? Helena's locally owned and operated the UPS store has you covered, located at 2047 North Last Chance Gulch. Stop by and get it done right. Writing the rules and then revising them. Montana's first constitution was slapped together in 1889, courtesy of those copper barons. They snuck in anti-bribery rules, probably just to look good to Washington, but left real power in the hands of the wealthy. Fast forward to 1972, and Montanans said, "Hold my huckleberry shake." We rewrote the Constitution ground up, sealing in transparency, privacy, and the right to know. Finally, regular folks got a real seat at the table, no saloon required. Yet, even after rewriting our charter, the process wasn't all coffee and town halls. A group of young activists paddled down the Yellowstone River in canoes, carrying a floating petition demanding environmental protections. They called it the Constitutional Canoe Caravan, stopping at riverside towns to rally support. Their splashy approach forced lawmakers to include citizen-initiated referendums in the new rules. Talk about making waves, literally. The truth beneath Montana's indigenous nations. While miners and moguls chased gold and copper, Montana's first people, the Salish, Crow, Blackfeet, Northern Cheyenne, and others, endured forced relocations, broken treaties, and starving bison herds. The Dawes Act of 1887 chopped reservation lands into scraps, selling the surplus to settlers. Millions of acres vanished. The Treasure State's glitter came at a heavy price to its original caretakers. Remember that next time you spot a buffalo in a field, it's a testament to their resilience. In recent years, tribal nations have been reclaiming their heritage and lands through co-management agreements of national parks, revitalization of endangered languages, and cultural centers that share traditional art and stories with visitors. Programs like the Salish Kootenai College's language immersion courses are breathing life back into ancestral tongues, while collaborative conservation efforts ensure that First Peoples' ecological knowledge guides wildlife and wildland stewardship. These partnerships remind us that Montana's future is strongest when it honors its first stewards. Centennial Celebration, 1989. 100 years in, Montana threw the ultimate birthday bash. The Great Centennial Cattle Drive, 3,000 cows, 3,000 riders, 200 wagons, rolled from Roundup to Billings on live TV, cowboys and camcorders side by side. Now that's modern frontier spirit. The celebration wasn't just about spectacle, it was a bridge between generations. Schools organized essay contests on what Montana meant to them. Local historians published special editions of their hometown newspapers and community centers filled with people sharing family photographs from Statehood Day parades of 1889. I even spotted a legion of kids dressing up like early settlers, chasing down reenactors for autographs, proof that a century's worth of stories can still ignite fresh imaginations. I actually tried to join in, but trust me, Bigfoot in a cowboy hat isn't exactly media-friendly. Ready for your next Montana home? Visit mostwantedrealestate.net, because that's how the West is sold. Modern Montana. Pride, problems, and possibility. As of 2025, Montana's wrestling with big questions: development versus conservation, resource extraction versus clean water, tribal sovereignty versus state authority. We ring the centennial bell every Statehood Day, but we're still hashing out what the treasure state truly means. For every glitzy ski resort, there's a Superfund site like the Berkeley Pit in Butte. For every new brewery, there's a community fighting to save a river. Small towns, big hearts. The real spirit of Montana lives in its small towns: Shelby, Ennis, Choteau, high school rodeos, pancake breakfasts, volunteer EMT calls at dawn. It's people showing up, rain, shine, or snow, because here, a handshake is law. And yes, they'll still loan you a ladder to fix your roof, and then hope you bring them back a piece of huckleberry pie. In some towns, you'll find community co-ops that started as simple grain-sharing networks and now run farmers markets, coffee shops, and art galleries. In Lewistown, for instance, the golden domes of the Moccasin Mountains serve as the backdrop for an annual Founders Day parade, where neighbors ride decorated tractors past historic Main Street buildings. That sense of shared pride, built on generations of tending the land and one another, is what keeps these places more than just dots on a map. The entrepreneur's calling: innovate or hibernate. Montana's always had dreamers, from miners to microbrewers. Today's hustlers live stream calving seasons, craft IPAs named after ghost towns, and blend native art with outdoor gear. Winters are long, markets small, so you gotta get creative. But when you hit it big, it feels as sweet as wild berries in July. Some modern pioneers are mixing tech with tradition. Think software devs coding beside glaciers, or e-commerce brands featuring crow pottery motifs. Remote work hubs spring up in converted barns where folks swap business tips over cooperative brewed coffee. And yes, I've tried pitching my own footprint tracking app. Turns out Bigfoot coding is rough on keyboards. Who knew? Lessons from the trail. History's messy. Gold and copper built wealth, but also scandals. Learn from both sides. Community is everything. Neighbors build the backbone that billionaires can't buy. Share your histories, be they hairy, bold, or downright yodely. And for my Bigfoot kin, leave footprints that tell a story, not a GPS path. Mystery keeps the legend alive. Well, pals, we've stomped through lands shuffled like decked-out poker chips, behind-the-scenes Copper King shenanigans, and small-town sagas that hit harder than a grizzly's paw. Montana's story is wild, resilient, and filled with heart, just like me trying to sneak a pie off your windowsill. If this episode left you stomping with excitement or got your curiosity going, do me a solid. Hit that 5-star rating, subscribe if you haven't yet, and share the 406 life with your kin, your buddies, and the neighbor who swears those prints are just wildlife wanderings. Hungry for more facts? Scamper over to the 406life.com and devour the blog post, Big Sky Legacy, Statehood Scandals, and the Montana Spirit. It's the full huckleberry pie with all the filling you can handle. Next week, episode 20, we're cooking up a Thanksgiving feast of gratitude, lore, and why even a lone Bigfoot like me has plenty to stomp thankful for. It's going to be gobble-stomping good. Until then, keep your antlers high, your campfire stories honest, and your footprints muddy. This is Montana Max signing off from the 406 Life, where the sky's big, the spirit's bigger, and the stories are wilder than any of us. Catch you at the next trail. Got a Montana story, business, or unsolved mystery you want on the show? Head to the 406life.com and drop me a line. No smoke signals required. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a stomp, stumble, or tall tale. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, heck, tell that guy who swears he saw me near Whitefish. I was just buying donuts, all right? Until next time, keep it outrageous, keep it kind, and keep living the 406 life. Montana Max, over and out.
That's the 4-6 line.